We're beginning our focus on child and teen safety here on It's Your Morning. Each week throughout the end of April and the month of May, we'll focus on a different topic that affects your child's safety. This week, we welcome in Dr. Wes Crenshaw, a family psychologist. We're talking about bullying this week, Wes. And the problem now with bullying, is there more bullying or is it just getting more attention?
Well, I think it's many of the same problems with bullying we've seen over the years, but now with social media, you have the ability to broadcast your bad ideas and bad thoughts and bad behaviors right out to the whole world. And so we see it right up there in kids' faces, and it follows them home at night, and it's everywhere on Facebook and Twitter. So I think that really raises it up to the next level.
Okay, we talk so much about, and we hear so much about what to do if your child is being bullied. But how about we have a moment of truth for parents out there? Can parents admit that your child is the bully? And if they are the bully, what do you do?
It's a very difficult problem because parents don't want to think of their child as being the offender in a situation like that. And so sometimes when teachers or other community members want to go forward to the parent and say, your child is the mean child, parents become enablers very quickly and step back and say, no, not my kid. And instead, you have to take a very assertive stance and work to prevent that from becoming an increasing problem with your child, lest it be reinforced and get worse.
It starts very early. I have a 5-year-old daughter. Just within the last week, she was bullied somewhere, and I feel like the parents were completely either ignoring it or oblivious. Is it stuff at home that causes kids to be bullies, or is it actions that they kind of come up with on their own, or what's the source?
Well, I had the same conversation you had with college RAs last week. They have the same problem in the dorms, that parents may be informed of bullying behavior at that age group too, and sometimes they're not very responsive either. It's hard to tell in any given situation where bullying comes from. You have your very kind of the traditional sick and dysfunctional version where you may have violence in the home, domestic violence or abuse, but there's a lot more now in terms of the mean kids sort of behavior of bullying, and that can come from some very good homes, places where kids maybe have learned a sense of entitlement or a feeling of what we refer to in the business as narcissism, and all kids go through some of that, but some kids it becomes kind of malignant and they begin to thrust that out against their peer group, and those are the mean kid kind of bullies we see.
Whether they're 5 or in college, how do you confront your child about how they're treating others?
Well, you're fortunate because you've got a young one and you can start now, and what I suggest is that you teach what I call the 3 E's: empathy, ethics, and excellence in behavior, teaching kids to feel as others do, to treat them with an ethical approach, and to expect from them an excellence in behavior. And the 4th E, I already mentioned, is the one we don't want to see, which is enabling bad behavior. And if parents, a classic example, the parent is coach or sideline participant in a soccer match or a basketball game, hollering insults at the ref or other team members, that's bullying behavior, and kids see that publicly, and that opens a door for them to behave the same way, as but one example.
You have a couple of books here, and where can people pick these up?
Well, you can get those at Amazon. They are at Rainy Day Books here in town, and you can also get them on Kindle and Nook.
Okay, so Dr. Wes, we really appreciate it. Thanks for coming in, and we're going to have you back as this series continues about child safety at the end of the month. We have so much more to talk about, but I think it's certainly a good issue to discuss. Thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate it, and we will be right back.